Any other questions? Heidi, are you on your doc cam? I don't see you.
I am. I'm going to spot my doc cam.
Okay.
I'm going to spotlight myself.
There we go.
Can I spotlight more than one?
You're spotlighted already.
I am. Oh, wow.
You can pin people. Tara and Alexis stay way ahead of the game here.
They sure are. Am I allowed to share my screen?
You have it. Yeah, for your screen share.
All right. Let's see if I can find your desktop Firefox. AM coaches. All right. All right. So I wanted to add that one of the fun things we did in our room, besides the awesome playlist, and everyone thought I had restaurant music, which was a big hit, was that we also, during the final Flipgrid video making and all that, where there's, the girls are kind of scattered in where they're done, we had a game of Scribble. We tried to get a game of Kahoots going, but we ended up doing a game of Scribble
on a whiteboard.
We had so much fun.
Did you do it on the whiteboard? On a whiteboard?
Yeah, there's a separate website actually for the game.
Oh, Scribble.io. I want to just make a comment before we go totally away from the social coaches. So one of the key things for anybody that's a newbie in terms of being a social coach, one of the key things that you have to help the girls with is making their video. And I have to say, we forgot somehow to say it last camp, but you have to tell them when they upload it to Flip that they mirror their video. Otherwise, the logo that goes across the front of their shirt will be backwards. And then, so just that's one, and we'll try and tell them on the instructions too. But as I said many, many times, you have to tell kids 4 times the same thing, 4 times. And adults, you have to tell 7.
That's true.
And I mentioned it in my introductory video that I did not mirror it, and they better. I just couldn't figure out how to do it with the app I was using to videotape. So, all right. Okay, so build coaches. I'm going to assume that most of you have done this before or have some experience with the Arduino. So I'm going to talk about some key big things. The schedule was already talked about, but just to do the crisis mode, the first thing that you will have to do as a build coach will be the hands-on hardware kits. That's Monday. So you're going to go open up that Spark box and go through the kit. There's a big roll of copper tape in there. It looks kind of like so. So if you don't know what that is, that's what this is. It's a copper tape. We'll be using it for a workshop, and they'll also be able to use it to create some external circuits for their LEDs. It's usually best to discuss that after we do, is it Thursday's workshop this time? Anybody know? The Starry Night one, the Starry Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Is it Wednesday?
That's on Wednesday.
Wednesday. So it's best to mention the copper tape after Wednesday's workshop. And then on Tuesday, no, still on Monday. Monday, you're doing the intro. Not that. Just the hands-on activities in the hardware kit. Okay. So let me go over the hands-on activity a bit with a book. On my doc cam, can you see the book here with my answers? Okay, so if I've got all these things going on, I've got the sharing screen. So I'm going to go in here and show you where my results are here. If we go to the Build Coach resources, and somewhere in here I have a PDF file, Build Coach key updated. There it is. All right. So everything's in here except a mistake right here where it says bones. Mary, I'm so sorry. The mechanical engineering put joints, not bones. because mechanical engineerings do moving parts.
So
Civil
what are we
engineering.
comparing? What are we comparing the bones to?
Well, we wanted to do the moving parts that kind of are moving all the parts of our process.
Well, I would say
Your elbow, your knee.
We get let's
I
do
would say it's
bones and joints.
but it's more than that. Well, yeah, it is joints and bones for
It's
sure.
joints and bones because you've
Cartilage,
got
and tendons, and all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the whole. You can't have. It's like the skeleton. If you think about that, to how do you make the skeleton work and keep moving when you want it to move and not move when you don't want it to move.
exactly. But it's not like civil engineering where you've got a stagnant, stationary,
Right,
unmoving thing.
right.
Okay. So the answers are in that folder. And that's where so don't go writing everything down, stressing, except make a note that this one, don't just do bones, do joints. Make sure you have mechanical engineering as moving parts. Okay. So, and I even wrote up here, Monday, small group, and please do not share this document. Qualcomm said I could only do this if I ask everyone not to share it. So it's for teachers, instructors' use. All
Yep.
right. Okay. So the next page.
But when we say it is, don't give it to the kids. You can obviously share it in your breakout room as a visual aid, but don't give it to the kids. And in fact, the park, they're going to be looking in their book, right, as they answer these questions. And so they should be focused on, we're going to put something up that says, here's what are the questions that they need to be answering or verbally asking them, following along in the book. And then you can, after all that's done, you certainly could share a screen with them.
We had in our breakout room, our one of the build coaches was doing this on, I think, a Jamboard in Google.
Yeah.
So she had, copied and pasted and was typing it in so the students could write.
Yeah. Be
worked.
creative. Yeah. So the kids can, and you can use your chat too. You can save your chat. Make sure you ask if you're, if you happen to be somebody that wants to, or you want to share a video of something, that you ask before you go in your room.
Okay. And if you have any concerns or questions about any of the documents or anything that has to do with the build, put some questions for me in the WhatsApp, drop by my office hours, call me, leave me a message. I'm bad at answering my phone. I'll call you back. I'm good at that. Email me, whatever works for you. Okay. Then after you introduce this kind of connection between this idea of lights, building a circuit and having this programming servo, which is the Arduino board, the Arduino board, and then you've got a circuit. After you talk about this and relating it to a human body, then you're going to dive into circuits a little bit. And one of the things with a circuit is that it allows electricity to flow. And electricity is just charge in motion. Okay? So in our circuits, we're moving around electrons, and they don't work like a hose. It's not like turning on a spigot where, your power source and the electrons start to flow from that out, around and like from the positive side or the negative side of the battery and going to the positive side. It's not like a hose in that way. It's more like a continuous tube of Cheerios or something, and you push one and they all move as soon as you push one. So you want to think of it more like that. It's a closed system like our circulatory system, where if something's getting pushed around, everything's moving at once. Sorry, I'm doing the physics, which is no one's going to ask you about that. All right. So in order for the electrons to get pushed around, to move around here, to have the electricity, we need the closed circuit. It only gets pushed around well in conductors. Conductors are where the electrons are not strongly held by their atoms, but very loosely held, so they can bop around from atom to atom. Insulators hold on to their electrons very tightly, so they don't usually allow electricity or charge to travel. So insulators are put around our conducting wires. We have plastic around the copper wire to help us not allow that charge to travel away from where we want it to be. You can have them test out what's conducting or not. So metals are generally conducting, plastics and rubbers are not. Okay, and then if the circuit's open, you won't have anything travel. If you short the circuit, that's a problem. If you have a wire from the positive end of a battery to the negative end of a battery and no component attached to it, that's a short. You've got an easy path for the electrons, for the charge to travel. It gets hot. It's not good. You don't want to short your board. You don't want to just connect the ground to the voltage in the board. So for example, on the board, on the Arduino board, if you can see on my dock cam, there's a ground and there's like a 5 volt. I don't want to connect a wire directly from the ground to the 5 volt. That wouldn't be nice. That would be a short, and you can mess up your board that way. You want to be careful that the wires, any of the exposed parts, our wires are pretty good because the pins and the ends of the wire fit in well into our breadboard or into the pin holders on the Arduino board. But if you've got them hanging out loose, you don't want them to cross paths, touch each other, and create a short. Right. When you're wiring your board, when you're making a circuit, you want to be careful to not have the power source connected to the Arduino board or the breadboard. You don't want power running through something while you're building a circuit. So during the whole thing, you're going to have your connector cable, right? Before you connect the battery pack, you'll have your connector cable connected here to your board. The other end goes in your computer. Don't plug it into your computer while you're building the circuit. And when you have to plug and unplug all the time, the board is a little more fragile than your computer. So do the plugging and unplugging from your computer side, not the board. Okay. Don't overload. Okay, let me go a little further down here and then I'll continue on with my. Okay, so inside the kit, when you go over the kit, you'll have the Arduino microcontroller, you'll have the breadboard. I like to point out to the students that the breadboard has the 2 end columns, the red column and the black column are connected. So the whole column from the plus on the top to the plus on the bottom of the board, that's all connected together with metal underneath. You don't see it there, but the whole thing is connected. And same with the minus rail, the negative rail from the top of the board all the way down to the bottom where the bottom minus sign is here. That's all connected together with a piece of wire. So if I put anything in that negative, that black row, column, if I put anything in there, I'm making a connection, a wire connection with them all together. So that's when we want to bring our power from our microcontroller. We can take like a GND and put it in the negative column, and then anything I put in the negative column will be in ground because it's all connected. For in between the parts, the rows on each half of the board are connected, but if the middle of the board breaks it, so sometimes people like to call this a river, and you can't cross the river. So if I'm in, these are numbered and lettered. So if I'm in row 1 on the board, let's see if I can get real close. So close that you can't see it.
I think you have to move what's behind you because I think it's focusing on that. I think
Is it? Okay.
if you move that the letters out, maybe you'll be able to see it clearer.
Better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to find.
Yeah, that's a little better.
Yeah, that's a little better.
Okay. So that first row has number 1 next to it. And then there's an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. But in between E and F, there's that river. So 1A through E is all connected with a wire underneath, and 1F through I, J, F through J is all connected as well, but they're not connected to each other. If you wanted to connect them together, you'd have to jump the river with a wire. Okay. So each of the rows on the half of the board is connected. So everything in row 25, A through E, is connected. So when you're trying to put things in the breadboard, you want to think about how things are connecting. Just remember the rows are connected together. That if you're in the same row, there's already a wire underneath there connecting all those dots in that row. And the columns are connected by a wire underneath. Okay. All right. And I've got that kind of shown here in the diagram as well in the book that I'm showing on the screen share here.
So can I ask a question? Because I've never thought of this before.
Yeah, go ahead.
So is the connector from 1 to 24, whatever it is, between the black and the red. Is that the only one that has the connect? Isn't that the only one that has the connection all the way through? And
column? Yeah.
Column. The other columns are not connected to each other. Just the row is connected.
Correct. Okay. So it's just that the plus and the minus columns are, the plus column is connected 1 through 24 all the way up and down, and the minus one, but the rows are across horizontal.
Right.
The numbers are across. Okay. All right. You've got your cable. If somebody's got a Mac, they're a newer Mac, they're going to have that dongle, that
I got
adapter
one.
that I've got on some hard drive somewhere else.
Well, I don't know.
There we go. You got it. Sorry, there we go.
Yeah.
This type of connector. If they've got a Chromebook or a PC, they're not going to have a problem. So let's just stop here for a second and talk about this, because this is something that you're going to have to, we should ask the question when you go into your breakout rooms during the orientation about whether they have been able to successfully connect to Code Bender through their Chromebook specifically, and have they downloaded all the software they need for using a Mac or a Windows version. So that needs to be done before we even get started. The Chromebook thing is a bigger issue because the schools, if they're using a school Chromebook, and 90% of them are school Chromebooks, they're not personal Chromebooks. The school may be blocking access for Zoom, Code Bender, and it typically allows Flipgrid. But for Zoom and Code Bender, they would have to get special permissions given to them. So you need to ferret that out. If I haven't been able to do it before now, you need to work with them to make sure that gets taken care of. Yeah. So okay. I just want to emphasize that all the software is on this wristband that's been included in their kit. So
Except
they just
Chrome, except Chrome.
except
You
the
have to
company.
add it in the Chrome store. So
Right.
they have to search it out. And you've all been, I think, either sent instructions, but it's in your training folder there too. So if they say, I don't know how to do it, you can share that in the training folder, the
Yep.
Chromebook or the non-Chromebook access, and it will walk through everything that they need to be able to do to get connected. If
Yeah,
they can't, then we need to know.
there's a PDF file that says how to do it. They get confused. So you just direct them to us. Somebody can help them out.
If they can't read, I guess you direct them to us. If they,
Yes.
but I trust that you all will be able to help them follow the instructions. You don't have to send them out to the main room. So 90, I expect you to handle 95% of the issues in the breakout room.
Yeah, and that Chrome Bender one is it's all about adding the extension in Chrome. So they go to the Chrome Web Store, they say install this extension, they don't launch it.
No.
And then they go to their Chrome
Code
web
Bender,
browser
Code Bender link.
Yep, and they type in that link. That's it.
They can put it in the same screen when after it says installed or whatever, add the extension. They can go ahead and put the Code Bender extension up in the top and they're ready to rock.
Yep, as long as they don't launch the app, they're good.
Now, other issues having to do with finding ports and all that stuff. We have had issues with campers downloading the wrong version from the version that we've included in the wristband is the correct version. If we send them and tell them to go up to the website, sometimes they download the hourly builds. And when you download an hourly build, or they'll download Linux or something that when they go to do that, it's not going to run right. And so that's going to be the first thing you're going to look at is what version are they running up in the top there? And it's very easy to see something when it's an hourly build. It's like, oh no, that's not the right one. And so then you just, rather than sending them out to us, that's something that you can note as well as we can. And sometimes I miss it. Sometimes it takes a while, but just automatically have them be able to share their screen if possible. But a lot of them may be on a different device in Zoom than the Chromebook that they're going to be coding on. So that may be a little tougher.
Yeah, and here you can see that I opened up an Arduino IDE page where I can code. It says the version of the Arduino code, the Arduino IDE is 1.8.19. I hope I've got the latest one. And then that's at the top of the window. At the bottom right of the window, it says Arduino Uno on. That's the type of microprocessor. So we want it to be Arduino Uno. And then it tells me the modem, my port is my USB modem. It will be different for different people's computers, but that's where they can see it. And you can work with the board or the port in, you can't see this on my screen. So let me see if I can show you my whole desktop. I don't know if I can do that.
I think, Griselda, do you have are you on your Chromebook now?
Here we got tools.
No, last year I used a Chromebook that was sent by AAUW, but this year I have Windows.
Oh, okay. Is anybody on a Chromebook here? Because it looks slightly different on a Chromebook.
It does look different on a Chromebook.
And I don't have mine set up. I'm not that.
I just wanted to show where, at least for the Mac, and it should be very similar for the PC. That tools, There's board. You want to pick Arduino Uno. And then for the port, this was a big problem. It's not going to be the Bluetooth one. It will not. It's not going to register even what it is until I plug in my board. I got to plug it in to even see the available port, but it's going to be my modem port. So let me go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that's another thing that often happens is they don't realize in order to see the stuff, you have to actually plug it in. Now, and by the way, a CodeBender, the CodeBender extension that we use for the class, for the session we're running, is oh, I lost it as I started thinking. COVID.
What are you going with, version or something else?
Yeah, I was going with something with what'll happen is if you put that URL in, that address, the edu codebender.edu/class/exj7z7 or whatever 7z, if you put that in, you'll go there, but you'll see a message that says you must install the CodeBender extension in Chrome. So it will give you an error message right in there that says they have not installed. So even if you, since it's an EDU website, to program, it'll right in that to program your Arduino, there'll be a message in there that will say, you need to install the extension. You don't have the application, and it runs in the background. So it will still go there, even if you have a school computer that's not giving you permission. And then when you go to try and add the CodeBender app in Chrome, that's when it bombs out and it says you don't have permission. So even if they put that one in, and that may not be enough to get them through.
Oops, I messed up with the screen there. Let me go back to show that. I wanted to point out, because I don't have a Chromebook here, but you can see that up here on the CodeBender window, it says, please select.
Yeah.
That's going to be for the Arduino Uno, I believe, the first one.
Yep.
And then the second one is the port.
Yep.
Yep. And then you're going to do the extension. And if I do Google Chrome,
it probably won't let you do it. It won't let you add
Yeah,
it.
it's going to be mad at me. I know.
It's
But
gonna-
I'll go to the Chrome Web Store, and then I'll do extensions. And I'm looking at extensions, and I do CodeBender. CodeBender. Nah.
Yeah,
CodeBender.
you're not try the CodeBender.
It's a CC, right?
Yeah.
CodeBender CC. It's not going to show me.
No, it's not.
Because I'm not even using Chrome browsers. They don't like it that I'm not using it.
Yeah, right. So yeah.
I'm a Firefox person. Okay. So let me close that. All right, but we'll get that all worked out. I'm 6 minutes over. Oh darn. Okay. So
can I ask a question?
Yes.
Do we have instructions on that CodeBender stuff?
Yes, that was in the folder on the Google Drive under training that says Chromebook access.
Okay. Thanks.
I'll show it to you at the end, right after I get through these pages. All right. So you're still, this is all stuff still for Monday, going through these things.
They don't need their computer at this point in time, but so they have a little bit of time to fix whatever needs to be fixed. And, you know, if we have to get them another computer, we'll work on getting them another computer. If there's some of the schools, they're on break, so they're not available. But for the most part, if you contact the school, if we contact the branch coordinator, they've been very good about going to the school and saying, what we need help. How can we get some help? And frequently they can just push the permission because everything's logged in. Everything's through Chrome on a Chromebook, which means they need internet. And so everything gets pushed via the internet the next time they log in. for the most part.
Yes.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay, so to try to be quick here, the wires, if they run out of wires, they don't have to color code the wires. The coloring of the wire makes no difference. It's just helpful for us to understand. It's like color coding file folders.
Well, and Joan, how many wires do they have? They have like 12 wires, don't they?
Yeah, they have 12 wires, so they've got more than enough.
A lot of wires.
More than any other year. They'll be fine. The
Depends on whether they're
LED,
using the servos, because the servos use 3 each.
Right, each they take 3. Right.
LEDs are directional. So most electric items, when you stick them in a circuit, it doesn't matter which way you put them in. LEDs, light emitting diodes, care about which way you put them in. They're directional. They only allow the current to flow in one direction. The plus side, or sorry, the longest leg goes closest to the positive side of your circuit. Okay, so it goes near wherever you're bringing your power in, and the shorter leg goes towards the ground side, the negative side, if you have a battery. Okay, I will be showing this all in the main room ahead of time. And there's great videos, and those Qualcomm videos are excellent. It's the whole training session. So if you're concerned at all, drop in office hours, watch those things. I promise you, I can help you, no problem. And it's easier usually one-on-one. The servos, key things about the servos: do not have anyone turn those rotors. Don't turn the blades by hand, because you'll break it. It can't handle the torque that we would apply to it. So it'll just break. You want to also, when they're putting on the rotor blades, so here, for example, I got a big rotor on this. You want to use the smallest screw in the pack, just in case you don't know which screw it is that I'm supposed to use when I put the top on. You use the tiniest screw. All right. So you will need to screw it in, and you do have a tool. And again, it's in my kitchen, not on my desk.
Here, I got mine.
Excellent. Could you show your tool?
You know, this little gizmo, this, mine is opening up here. It's this little thing here. Some of them don't realize those are tools. And the tool would just go in the, pick whatever the smallest screwdriver is you got, would go in the end like that. And this also is, they can use it to measure things.
Like the hole they're going to make for the water workshop first day.
Right. So this tool should be very handy for them to use. And there's also a light on it, if you haven't figured that out already. So if they need to look at something, they can use that. Yes, I love this tool.
I do too. I've used it a few times this summer. All right. So I am in now. I'm showing, am I sharing this screen? I think I've got my whole desktop shared, right? You got a really messy desktop. Okay. So here is where let me go back to AM coaches. So training, let me go in training, AM coaches. There's the building code tutorials. In this folder, you've got how to do the LED and servo activity. There's videos, there's coding, how you write the code. Lots of good things in here. And these are folders. So there's lots of stuff in here. If you need more video, if you want to see it, you want to build it, we can build it together. Of course, I just come by my office hours or the other tutorial I will have. Okay, so training and coaches. Sorry, I keep getting messed up with where I am. Okay, so I did that one. Then here's the Tech Trek Build Coach resources. In here, you've got the key, the Build Coach key. That's all the Build Coach stuff in the book I have completed, and you got that. There's troubleshooting for the Arduino. This is a good page. It's from Qualcomm. It just kind of tells you some issues that arise with the Arduino. There's the recordings from the Build Coach training from a previous year. That's pretty good. I've got some videos here about making a series circuit and a parallel circuit using the copper tape. I put it on the HA thingamajig. Right.
Oh, okay.
That because that's what I had around. I used last year's wearable item, and
Right.
they're not going to probably be building that, but the idea of building the circuit's the same. There's also some issues that may arise with the LEDs they choose to put in a series or parallels. Some of them require more voltage than others. So depending how you set it up, you might create basically a short in the system where the current all goes through the lowest voltage requiring LED. So if you put like 5 white ones and a red one, it's all going to go through the red one because it's easier. Nobody likes it to
Right.
go uphill, right?
Right. And you know, there is something in an LED that causes, you know, that's an activation voltage level. So
Yes.
and they're all different. And
Yes.
if it was all the same, that wouldn't matter, but they're all different. And it's kind of like it won't turn on until you get to that voltage. And if there's a higher one in the circuit, it's going to suck it up.
Right. Right. So you want to, if they're having trouble, it just might be, you know, the LED, the types of LEDs they're picking to put together.
Or it's backwards.
Or it's backwards. Right. You can, yeah, I won't get into all that. Okay. There's an orientation recording here. A lot of good things. The PowerPoints for the Build Coach training that Qualcomm used last year, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it's from 2021. They're good. It's good. It's got lots of good information on it. So you can watch the videos from Qualcomm and pause them whenever you like. You can also go through these slides. They have lots of good things in here. All right. And I'm going to stop because you're 15 minutes over now. I want to take questions.
If we got questions.
Yeah.
Anybody?
No, tired.
Everybody's good.
Everybody's
Everyone's
tired.
just knocked out.
That's okay. You send me questions tomorrow or anytime. Okay.
I don't envision major issues. I think we've already talked about what the potential areas of trouble are going to be, and keeping an eye open for that, and just making sure if we get into those waters that we can get some help, and everybody's willing to help get you back out of those waters. So
yeah, and Chrissy just asked a great question in the chat. She said, what kind of dock cam am I using? And my dock cam is an old iPhone that no longer functions very well, and it's serving as a dock cam.
you can Google. I mean, depending on what iPhone you've got, you can Google how to set your phone up as a dock cam.
Yeah.
I have a very old one called the Hover Cam that I use, and it costs, I think, about $90, $100. But the iPhone probably would work just as fine. And who is it that found like a basket, a metal basket, and they put it upside down or something so that the camera shone through one of the holes in the metal grid thing, and then they were able to suspend it up above and put their paper, their document underneath.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's anything that works. You're thinking.
Yeah, I've got my, I can show you. Let's see if I can. No, I can't show you. Hold on. Background. Video. Choose virtual background. None. There we go. Messy office. Okay, see, that's my dock cam setup. I've got my old iPhone on top of a textbook on top of a printer.
No one would ever know.
Right. And the stuff down below. 2 years ago, I did it all with just books. I just had a stack of books and my phone on top.
So do you have, is your iPhone logged into Zoom separately?
Yes. Yes.
And you can log in multiple times, multiple devices. So you're allowed to log in multiple devices.
Right. So I just copy the link and I message myself because the messaging still works even if the phone doesn't work. And I log in.
Yeah. So other questions? Probably a simple one, but if you're sharing your screen and you've got your little background on, or you got a blur on or something, you're going to have to take it off if you're trying to show somebody up close stuff. You know, you're going to have to, otherwise it's going to go all funky. And every time you move it a little bit to the side, it's going to disappear. So, Rolly, you ready? Roz, you ready? Roseanne?
Are you talking to me? Ready?
Ready.
I'm listening. I'm here. I'm listening.
I said, Rolly, are you ready? You all
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready.
I wanted to point out that these screen backgrounds, you can fade out in them. So I know like when I was playing Mafia last camp, whenever I would turn around in my chair, like you don't know that I'm there, but I'm right there.
Ah, crazy.
So that's something that's happening with all these screens. So the girls, even when they're in the room, you know, if they turn around, if they, you know, do something like that, you don't see them. So the lighting makes a big deal. It's really so much better during the day. I'm so glad I don't have to show anything at night because I don't have a good lighting.
Natural lighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Natural lighting. Any questions, Rolly or Roseanne?
No, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Sticking out. Cheryl, you good?
Yeah, I think I'm good. I've got to figure out the doc cam thing. I have an extra webcam, so I'll play around with that a little bit.
Oh yeah, you can do that. I think Joan does that.
Yeah, I don't know how to set it up, but I'll fuss with it.
Yeah, I actually use the tripod from my digital camera, an old digital camera I had, and I took my tripod and I attached my webcam to it. And it looks just great.
Yeah.
It won't just be another video device. So on my screen, I have 3 things hooked up to my Zoom camera, or it has 3 options. I can pick my hover cam, the dock cam. I can pick this camera up here, and I've got another setup, which is actually an app that I can bring an image in from that app. And so anything that you connect in, it's going to recognize it. You won't even have to add it. If it's already connected into your computer in a USB port somewhere, it's going to see it. And oh, you have this connected. Is it, which one do you want to use? And then you should just be able to switch back and forth between them. That you could set your webcam up separately when you want to show and switch it off of your Zoom camera.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Does
How I do it. I don't dial in twice.
I found that last time and I'm not sure how this works with people dialing in, but I remember last camp when I had everything figured out, but then when I went to share my dock cam, it wouldn't, even though it was connected. Like I was going to do a Bluetooth, I was going to do a mirror connect my devices by Bluetooth and show it. But not being a host, I think didn't, then I couldn't do it. So I ended up having to call in.
That makes sense.
So I'm not sure if you're not the one kind of hosting the meeting, if everything ports with you. Maybe if it's hardwired, it does. I don't know.
It's hardwired. It has to be hardwired or connected in some. You could be Wi-Fi connected to a camera, but I don't think most of them.
No, it wouldn't do it when I was connected that way. When I was Bluetoothing or through Wi-Fi,
So you had
it wouldn't do it.
And I have my USB connector.
And I don't have enough ports to do it and the Arduino.
You may have some of those issues, by the way, with the campers too.
Yeah.
And tablets, that's the biggest issue. They'll come in with a tablet, which is like, do you have a USB-A port Oh, no. Yeah,
Oh, no.
I already told you that. You need a USB-A port. Oh, I only have one. Okay, then maybe, unfortunately, we've had some dads who have said, I'll go get her a hub.
Yeah.
So it made life a little bit easier, but if they're using mom or dad's computer and mom or dad are at work, then it's like, oh, great. Okay, let's see if we can't get this done at orientation. So in the heat of battle, we're not trying to solve that issue.
Actually, there's a couple campers on our list. One says that they have a tablet, and then one doesn't have, or one says, I think, none under computer.
Let me look. Which that's your team?
In breakout room 8.
Oh, let's see. Where's she?
It was, oh shoot, I printed it out.
Yeah, and I've reached out to maybe one of the campers that's been ghosting. So Shimojima, Lexi Shimojima she's one of the campers. She COVIDed out at camp. And so
shoot. Okay.
And she's blank right now. She has nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Avery Burks is actually, didn't we send her a laptop? I think she's got a Chromebook.
Okay.
And if she doesn't have a Chromebook, she's using somebody else's. I remember seeing a message on that. So I'll follow up on that one though.
Okay. And then Alberto.
She's got
It says tablet.
Let's see. I'd have to look and see if she's got in her technology thing. She may have a secondary device that I looked at and said, okay, she can use her tablet for Zoom, but not for the other. So I'll take a look at those. I need to take a look at them all tomorrow anyway.
Okay.
I got to send a camper countdown message out. And, since I got back this week, I've been trying to send out not 5 messages at one time for them all not to be read.
Dr. Mimi?
Yeah.
I wanted everybody and you to know that I sent out an email actually to know that I'm not going to be able to make it on orientation on Sunday, but I am going to make it on the opening campfire. So yeah, because thank you. Because tomorrow I have to leave before 6 in the morning. I'm going to the university. Yeah, I know, really early. To the University of California, Riverside for a summer camp, a leadership camp.
Oh, nice. That'll be.
And I applied to there, and I knew these two would kind of clash, so I didn't sign up for AAUW, but I didn't hear from them for a while, so I signed up for this, but I did get an email saying, congratulations, you're accepted. And I was so happy. Happy. My mom was happy. It's called a Mecca summer camp. Have you guys heard of it?
Yes, I have.
It's for the Chicano student movement of Aztlan. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So they're for Latinos and Hispanics, and I'm so excited. It's my first year. And yeah.
You'll have to tell us all about it. What happened.
So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And I can't make it, but
Yeah.
All right.
I will get
Campfire,
opening campfire.
and you can maybe when we do the opening campfire, when we do intros with everybody, you can talk a little bit about that. Get them excited about the possibility, huh?
Yeah.
That would be great. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. See you later, hun.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll take a look at those. I'll take a look at all of them, and we've been working it for a while, trying to get to the point. And I think what happens is the campers don't go in and update the data. They send me an email, and sometimes I get in to do it, and sometimes I don't. So I'm going to turn the recording off.